people a lot of times talk about how they want to go on deployment. They want to, like, they miss Afghanistan. They want to do these things. And I was like that, after you've been away from it for a little bit, you're like, man, I want to go back on a deployment, and then you go, and then you're like, man, this sucks. Like, the living sucks. And it differs. We talked a little bit before at the beginning how it differs from place to place. You want to describe how your living conditions were at your patrol base?
Absolutely. Yeah, we were pretty Spartan. And we knew they were going to be pretty Spartan going out. And when I got our team all together before we drove up on that first convoy from Leatherneck to the patrol bases, I got all the Marines together, and I told them, you guys, I took some advice that my brother gave me before I went into boot camp. He's like, it's going to suck, but enjoy it while you're there. You're never going to do this twice. You're not going to do this again. So take a 5-second pause and realize where you are and try to enjoy it. And I did that to my guys. And I said, hey, we're going to an area that's pretty rough. We know there's a lot of IEDs. We know there's mortars. We know we're going to get in fights. And we know the conditions are pretty Spartan. So when you're bitching about it, just remember, these are the stories you're going to tell your grandkids in 40 years. Is this right here? We're starting your story. Like, this is it. So remember it. Like, it's not all bad. Enjoy it while you're here. Enjoy the rough, while you're there. And when we got there, I mean, it was pretty rough. So I think we mentioned, different types of, operations that you can do. I mean, you can operate out of Leatherneck, and you can do things where you do raids and you're out for a night, or you're out for a couple of days, or you do a movement through an area and you're out for maybe a week and then you're back. And when you're at Leatherneck, it's pretty nice, in different patrol bases, they have varying degrees of amenities. So some places have shower trailers, some places have buildings with showers, some places have, full laundry services,
drop-off
and stuff like that. What's that?
Drop-off laundry. You go drop it off and then come back the next day and it's done for you.
Yeah, pretty nice. So the facilities at Faisal and Redvi were very Spartan. Shergazi was slightly better, but not by much. And these conditions improved by the time we left. The last month they got better. And again, I'm not going to complain about these. I'm going to describe what they were, but I actually really liked that they were like that. I thought that that's how Marines are supposed to live. We're not supposed to have nice, comfortable facilities in a combat zone. It should be rough. Yeah. Like, we shouldn't get too comfortable there. We should want to do our job and leave at some point. So yeah, like basic things like showering. There was no shower facility at PB or Redvi. We had a little thing inside the EOD and ANGLICO compound that was made, and it was basically like a little HESCO turned into a fence, or like a door in a corner, and it had somebody took a water bladder out of Camelback and hung it up so it would get like hot in the sun, and then you could sort of dribble some water on you with like a Camelback like hose, Yeah. But I did that maybe 2 times. It was so cold while we were there; it was freezing. And that was barely worth it. That water got up to like 45 degrees, in the heat of the day. So didn't shower much. It was just baby wipe showers. It was like field op baby wipe showers. And laundry, there's no laundry facility. Actually, you put on the cover of the last podcast we did, that's me doing laundry.
That corrugated steel.
Yeah. So I found a couple of like, they're basically like oil cans for catching oil off of MRAPs when you're changing the oil. I had 2 of those that were clean, and then found that piece of corrugated steel and just dumped. We had a big box of that powdered laundry detergent, and took it out. And it was from my days living in Mexico when we used to do all our laundry by hand. And I got my guys together. I'm like, this is how you do your laundry. You fill one up with soap and you run it up. You run your clothes up and down this corrugated metal, and then you dip it in the rinse thing, and then you set it over there to dry. And it helped a little bit. I mean, it made you smell like laundry detergent, but it was so dirty. It was still like your clothes were all starched, like super heavy starch. So your socks would just stand up on their own,
Yeah, just crust.
because they were just so dirty. What's that?
Just that crust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty, pretty gnarly, but that's how, we try to do laundry every once in a while. Somebody started stinking too bad. It was like, you need to go do the hand wash. So that was laundry and showering. Shaving was um, a hole that we dug in the side of the right next to the side of our Hesco and put some rocks in, so there was some drainage, and then we had like a little framed 2x4 box with the side mirror of a blown up MRAP. So we took one of the side mirrors off, hung it up on the thing, and you've got it. So you got a mirror,
Nice.
and then the way you'd shave is heat up water in and we had a coffee maker, like a Black and Decker Walmart coffee maker, and heat up water in that, pour it in your canteen cup, go outside, so you have some hot water, and then shave with that, rinse off with some bottled water, and then clean out your canteen cup really well, and then put your coffee in there, and then drink your coffee. And that was how you shaved every day. There was no place to get haircuts, so somebody had clippers and cut hair for a little while. I finally just started shaving my head. I was
really?
just tired of it. Yeah, I just shaved my head all the time. I was tired of the haircuts. Yeah, it was super cold and drying out, so I was like, just for hygiene purposes, I'm just gonna shave.
God, dude.
Shave my head. But going to the bathroom, there's no toilet facilities. There's no toilets. So you got piss tubes, which are of course the PVC pipes like buried into the ground a foot. But the Georgians didn't know how to do that very well. They, instead of building drainage, they just like stuck them randomly in the dirt. So it always stunk really bad. And then if you needed a poo, you had to go it was wag bags the whole time. So I had my wife send me. You can go on Walmart or any camping store, and you can find like a poop tent, and it's basically like a tent that's big enough for one person to squeeze into, like horizontal, like or stand in vertically. And then we had an old milk crate that we flipped upside down, cut the bottom out of it, and then put a toilet seat on it. So, and then you just put your wag bag, you wrap it over the toilet seat, sit on that, do your business, and then wrap that thing up and walk halfway across the patrol base with your poop in your hand and throw it in the burn pit. So that was always funny walking down, like, because you had to walk right next to the COC to get to the burn pit. So people are coming in and out of the COC, and you just walk by and you got your poop in your hand.
Hey, what's up, sir?
And like, hey, what's up, sir?
Did you guys play the game to see how far away from the burn pit you could be and still make it in? See how far you can fling that bag of poo?
Yeah, I try to stay as far. Yeah, I try to stay away as far as the burn pit at all times.
Nasty.
It was pretty nasty. But and then the food situation was maybe the worst. There was no chow hall. There was no really American support for chow there. I think what happened, we ate the same chow basically for 3 months. What are those rations called? They're like an MRE, but they're the big trays.
The tray rats, yeah.
Yeah, tray rats. So all we had was tray rats. But we got our food from the Georgians, so whatever they ordered, we got a piece of it. And I think whoever their supply guy was who ordered it didn't realize that there's 5 like different menus. He just ordered the same menu. So when you get a tray rat, it's like 3 different things, right? It's like a main menu, and then like a side dish, and then like a vegetable thing. Mm-hmm. And so you get these 3 trays, and then you heat them up with the bag that comes with them. You pour a little water in there, and then that's that chemical heater, And but it was spaghetti. So the main meal was spaghetti, and that's all we had for like 3 months. And I think it was like cornbread on the side or something. And the Georgians, we got so tired of spaghetti. I stopped eating for a while. But the Georgians, they got tired of it too. So they would take them all. They would take like 20 of them. And what they did is they built this like little wood, almost like a smokehouse. And they had a huge, big, giant pot in there, like a big metal pot. And they would just pour like 10 of those tray rats in there into the pot, put a bunch of water in it, and then pour like 10 Tabasco sauces in it. So it was like spicy spaghetti soup. And they're like, hey, breakfast is ready. So
that's all you had to eat every meal?
Yeah, that was 2 meals a day with that stuff.
Ugh.
So, I lived off like care packages for a while. People would send beef jerky, and Basically, I lived off Copenhagen and coffee for like 4 months.
That's what's up.
Yeah, and yeah, that food was pretty horrendous. And then
3 months
one
of
time the
spaghetti.
Georgians, what's
I
that?
said 3 months of spaghetti. That's crazy.
Oh yeah,
Watt,
breakfast and dinner.
Was telling me about that too. I didn't know it was every patrol base. I thought it was just his.
Oh, he had that problem too. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. It was pretty bad, and it was pretty disgusting. And then the Georgians one day they like traded some MREs or something for a goat. So they cooked up this goat and they got rice somehow. I don't know how they got a bunch of rice, but it was basically just goat and rice. And I was like, oh, sweet, something different. And they're like, yeah, yeah, come on over. They were all excited about it. Like, come eat. I got that and took one bite, and I threw it out. It's probably the worst food I've ever tasted in my life. I almost threw up. I don't know what they did to that goat.
That's bad that you would
But it was
prefer
disgusting.
you won't even eat it after eating spaghetti over and over again.
Yeah. No, yeah, it was awful. It was really horrible.
We had a situation in Marja in 2011 where we had what are those meals called? First strikes, where it's the entire day's meal in one bag, but it's
Okay.
basically all bread. It's this big ass clear bag, and there's two types. One has all the bread bullshit, and then like a packet of tuna, and then the other one has a packet of chicken, and that's all we had for a month. And
Wow.
I got to the same way where I'm like, fuck this, I'm not eating. Put in a dip, grizzly wintergreen. I'm not eating. This is bullshit. Especially the worst was when care packages would come in and you wouldn't get one. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh no, what am I gonna do? That's the worst.
They did do eventually there was a PX truck. So I don't know if you've seen that. It's like a 40-foot shipping container that's on the back of a truck, and they just bring that in, open it up, and there's like a PX inside. And they got snacks and friggin', for some reason there was an Xbox in there. But that came like at month like 4.5. That was the first time we saw that. It was like Marines pull in with the PX, and they're like, didn't even know the base existed. They're like, what are you guys doing out here? It was like, it's like visiting people on Mars, and but I just walked in there again. I just bought coffee in Copenhagen from them. So
if they had it right, our patrol base or in Sangin was not patrol base. Our FOB in Sangin was like the last stop on their rounds. So when they got to us, there was like nothing in there. And I remember one time they came and they had a single flat of monsters, which is 24 or something like that. And one of the guys on my advisor team was the first one in line and went in and bought that entire case and walked out with it. And the entire line was ready to murder this dude. They were like, fuck you, it was. And then he's like, oh, I'll sell you one, for $5 or whatever, but
that's messed up.
But it was like, to even use the PX truck, you had to have cash, which nobody had. So people were riding home and having their families send them cash in the mail so they could so they could buy something from the PX truck when it came. Again, like I think we only got it 3 times. One time it was supposed to come and they let us know. They're like, hey, it'll be here tomorrow or maybe 2 days, whatever. And then we found out that it had gone off the road and rolled into a canal. So they were taking it back. And we're like,
no way.
Just bring all this shit here. Empty it out here. Like, we will take water-soaked stuff. We don't even care.
You're like, no, launch the QRF. Let's go get it.
Yeah, no shit. Let's raid the truck, man. Food's tough, man. When we ate with our Afghans, that was the best food we had in 13. I starved. I starved out there too. We beef jerky, like you said, beef jerky was primary. Like, we had a couple officers with some good connections, and they had organizations sending us care packages, which really helped. But it was like tough.
Yeah, the one time I ate, we had a couple Afghan interpreters living with us on the base, and they invited me over one night to eat, and that was by far the best food. It was flatbread, some rice and fish that they like did the underground cooking, like they cover it in like sand, under coals and stuff. Man, that was
real slow.
That was really good food. Yeah, that was yummy.
Yeah, man, it's that's one of those things. Like they would make French fries for us, and we were like, "This is bomb!" Like at these crazy, way out there locations, would make some of the best French fries I've ever had, and they would be so proud.
Wow.
And they would bring out bottles of. They would make the rice and meat also, and they would bring out the French fries, And then they would bring out bottles of Texas Pete hot sauce. Like, ooh, we got real important guests here. So they're bringing out like, they thought they were really showing like themselves, you know, because some of the bases we went to, like they really appreciated the American advisors. You know, one of the one of the company commanders like lost his eye and something else, you know, his advisor team